Welcome to Econ 1101. Welcome to UNSW. I know that many of you, and for many of you, this might be the first course that you take at UNSW. So particularly a big welcome to you. I am Alberto Motta. I am the lecturer in charge for this course. So if you have any issue, I'm here. That's the person. I'm a professor of economics with the UNSW Business School, and I am thrilled to have you here. We have our live chat. We have our moderator coming in. So if you have any question, please ask them on the chat, and we're going to reply on the chat to you. If you have something that you want me to answer specifically, do not hesitate. Just tag me in and I'll answer. But otherwise, our demonstrators are online and they're going to help you out in the chat room. As I was saying, a big welcome to the course. I want to just make super clear what is my first objective in life when it comes to this particular course, and it is to allow you to succeed and do as well as you can in this course and get the mark that you want, that you aim for, and that corresponds to your efforts. So this is my first objective. Make this easy and fair for you to get the marks that you need. And we designed the course to be extremely flexible to give everybody the opportunity to achieve this. And let me talk a little bit about some situations that our students are facing that might not pertain to you specifically, but some students are working sometimes part-time, sometimes even full-time. And I've heard stories directly from them when they would, go to bed at 9 p.m. very early, wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then do all their homeworks, and then go and maybe take care of family or go do a full-time job. That's very stressful. Still, these students manage to do it. However, there are times in life someone gets sick, there are problems, there's a bit of a shock, and this whole house of cards come falling down, and then students fall behind. At that point, the usual reaction is to feel a bit hopeless, like we don't know what to do, we are stuck, we are falling behind in the course. If that happens to you, please just send me an email, send Will, who is our lead demonstrator, an email, and we are gonna help you recover. So absolutely don't feel bad if you're falling behind. This happens to everybody, and there are a lot of things in life that can happen during a term. Just contact us right away and we will be with you. And it is keeping in mind all these situations that we have designed this course to be incredibly flexible. Trent just introduced himself. Hi Trent, amazing to have you. I am going to actually add you as moderator. That's it. So now, Trent, you are officially our moderator for the channel. Thank you so much for coming and for helping. So Trent is gonna answer all of your questions, okay? But as I said, if you need to talk with me, just tag me and I'll see it and reply right away. I was talking about flexibility. And we think that flexibility is the way in which we allow students to succeed in a world that gets more and more intense every day, where there are so many activities that someone may or may not want to do. So we are tailoring this course to that. And let me start by telling you how we make this flexible. First of all, let's talk about our classes. So we have a class today. This is our live YouTube class. It's very cool. I love it. I would prefer to see you in person, but I can see how lively the chat is, and it's a good substitute. Also, I am gonna do exactly the same content here and in the other stream, which is face-to-face on campus on Monday and Thursdays. But this is our live class, completely equivalent content-wise to the in-person class. And here is the trick. You have enrolled into this online course for one reason or the other. You prefer the online stream, but if you are on campus and you want to join us on Monday and Thursdays for a live face-to-face class, absolutely come. And also your colleagues that are enrolled in the live face-to-face stream, if they want to come to this online class, well, they can. There is full flexibility. UNSW kind of like to pigeonhole you into one stream or the other stream, and look, there are organizational reasons why that might make sense, but for me, I just want to give you full flexibility, so feel free to come in any form you want, online, live, mix them up. I am going to do the same material, exactly almost the same words, so you can interchange, and you're never going to feel like, oh, there was a disruption if you decide to attend a live class and then come online. Also, all these lectures that I'm doing now will be recorded on YouTube, you know, with all the transcripts, the subtitles, and all that magic stuff that YouTube does. We think YouTube is the easiest point of access for these kind of videos. That's why I'm not using the standard UNSW platforms. We believe that in terms of giving you flexibility and accessibility, I'm just gonna do a YouTube live stream. It seems the simplest thing. So you are fully flexible when it comes to picking the class that you want. And in fact, if you don't want to come to my live online classes or to our live face-to-face classes, you can just watch the recordings, right? So you are free to do what works for you. We understand that there may be a lot of moving parts in your life. Of course, I would love for you to come to the in-person class or to the live synchronous class, but it's up to you. Second, we are going to have the same logic apply to our workshops. Workshops are starting next week. Trent is one of our demonstrators. We're going to lead these workshops. We pick people like Trent not just because they are amazing, they're super smart, they're really good at the content, but especially because they care. We have like our own selection that we do separate from the other courses in the school, where in the interview we are trying to understand if our demonstrators care about students. That's the most important thing for us. We want to build a community. That's how, by building a community, we allow people not to drop out, right? If we want to avoid, like in my story, that example of someone having to wake up at 4 to do the homeworks, and then something happens, and then everything, house of cards comes down, and then they fail. In order to avoid situations like this, it's about having people, staffing people that care, and that's our biggest objective. Also remember, I'm just one email away. So if you are having trouble with any part of the course, or if you have any problem at all, just send me an email and I'll fix it. I mean, I am here to break new grounds. I'm here to disrupt a little bit, and I'm happy to change things. In fact, that's my preference in general. Maybe I change things too much even sometimes. That's what they tell me. But it will come in handy if you want me to change something, because I am available to do that. So workshop, again, UNSW love to put you into the little box, and so we had to enroll you into a specific workshop. However, here is the trick. We really don't care which workshop you go to. Like, for example, you could choose 0 workshops. You don't go to workshops. You have your own method, you have other things that you're doing, 0 workshop. That's fine. We might take attendance, but it doesn't count, okay? It's just for our internal purposes. It does, so you can do whatever you want. But more interestingly, if instead you love the workshops because they're great, it's a place where you can ask all your questions and stay up to speed with the content, well, you can go to any workshop that you want anytime. In fact, you can go to every single workshop that is out there in a week. You can go to 20 workshops per week, as many as you want, as many as you need. Just go there and sit and ask your questions. So you can go from 0 to infinity of workshops almost And that's your choice. We don't judge that too much. It's up to you to make that call. Even when it comes to our assessments, we build the course to be insanely flexible, in the sense that we have no deadlines. Of course, if you think about it, a course with no deadlines would mean a course that never ends. So that's where we have a problem. In week 10, we have to close shop. We cannot do assessments beyond week 10. It's just not physically possible for us to do it. So all the deadlines are at week 10. So it's never gonna be something like this. Oh my God, it's Tuesday, I forgot the Econ 101 deadline, I'm doomed. It's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen because there are no deadlines in the middle of the term. But something like this could happen. Oh my God, it's week 10 and I haven't done any of the assessments. That could happen because remember, we have to end at week 10. And important disclaimer, because it's basically a deadline that stretches from now until the end of the term, and because a lot of these activities has a group component, I'm going to explain that in a second, well, we cannot extend. Not even if you have an ELS application, we just cannot extend these deadlines. So I physically cannot push this beyond week 10, and because of the nature, we just can't. So there is a deadline, it's week 10. It's the latest deadline that we could have, so please stick to that. When it comes to the assessment, we also give you a lot of freedom of what you're doing specifically. Like there are multiple choice questions, or there are short answer questions, then there are video game activities. But the thing is, you can choose how to mix and match them. For example, suppose you really think for your preparation for the final exam, short answer questions are the biggest bang for your buck, right? You are confident, that's it. Then you can only do short answer questions and get all the marks that you need from assessment leading up to the final exam, which, by the way, 45 marks you can get before the final exam, and then you can get the remaining 55 marks from the final exam during the exam period. But if you instead want to mix and match, you can do a bit of SAQs, a bit of multiple choice questions, a bit of game activities if you want. This means that the game activities and the MCQ are not really compulsory. And even the short answer question, you can maybe do more or less depending on how you feel they are contributing to your learning. So we are kind of going for it's a blank canvas, right? It's a white canvas. It's like one of those Zen master thing. It's white. You make out of this course what you want to make. Now there is a caveat here where all this freedom could come at the cost for certain people. The way our mind works, which is really fascinating, and economists have run a lot of experiments, is that suppose I have to do my homework today, and that's the cost that I feel this is gonna be, like equivalent to this pen. Then I look at the future tomorrow, and the cost tomorrow seems to be lower. So from a decision-making perspective, I'm like looking at the cost of doing homeworks today or the cost of doing homework tomorrow, and doing homeworks tomorrow seem to be less expensive, less hard, less effort required. That's a mind trick, right? Because in fact, today or tomorrow, the cost will be most likely the same. But because of the structure of our brain works like that, we tend to procrastinate. Then when tomorrow comes, we do the same thing. We think, oh, it's so much more costly to do it today. Tomorrow is going to be so much cheaper. So I'm going to put less effort and do my homework tomorrow. And that's procrastination. Happens to everybody. So if you feel you are a person like that, that's really subject to the pitfalls of procrastination, no problem. We have a system for you, which we call premium service, where you send us an email. I'll tell you what address to use in a second. You send us an email, and we organize essentially a schedule for you, a completely made up schedule of fake deadlines. And we are going to pester you to kind of do your assessments in these moments during the term, essentially creating a structure for you to work. In that case, you know, the cost today of doing homework may look very big, but then we are pestering you to do it today, and so you might end up deciding, I'm just going to do my homework today because my demonstrators are pestering me to do them, and I want to shut down that cost, so I'm going to just do them. That's the idea. We are here to also offer a path for people that don't necessarily like all this flexibility. Just send us an email and say, I would like to have that schedule made for me and for a demonstrator to check up on me, and we are going to make it happen. Very well. I can see with the corner of my eye while I'm talking that there are a lot of questions coming in, but Trent is literally killing. That's the first time Trent is moderating, and I know that all the demonstrators are really busy, so thank you, Trent, for doing this. And remember, just tag me at econ1101, so in case you want me, I can quickly check and answer, because I might not be able to follow the entire stream of questions and answers. So just tag me, maybe Trent, let me know if there is something that pertains to me. So this was chapter 1 of our first intro lecture. Welcome. We're going to be flexible, and we're going to be flexible because we want you to succeed. We're just one email away. No shame. If you're falling behind, let us know. Very well. Now I need to do, you know, the boring stuff now. I have to show you Moodle, then how to sign into Playconomics.com and get your stuff going with the assessment. You can start today if you want to do assessments. That's perfectly fine. If you are an early adopter, you can start literally today. I'm going to show all of this now. Yeah, thank you. So I'm seeing a comment saying, I love the flexibility since it prepares us for how we handle our task in real world scenarios. Exactly. Real world, it's basically entirely flexible. Your life is entirely up to you, and we think education should reflect that. Also, economists have faith in people. That's one of the things that I'm going to try to teach you. I think economists have this faith that people are smart. And we believe, this team believes that you, our students, are smart. You know what you're doing. When you make a decision, it's probably an optimal decision for you. And so we want you to make that decision. But with a bit of a, because we're still higher education, with a little bit of a safety net, right? But otherwise, go for it. Now, jumping into Moodle, I'm going to put myself in the small window just for a moment and show you the Moodle website. Like, the most important thing in Moodle, really the most important thing, if you ask me one element that's really important, is this one, course announcements. So this thing here, course announcements and forums, that one. Here, it's how I keep in touch with you, my main channel of communication. I am obsessed with keeping you up to speed with things, but if you don't check my course announcements, then I lose a very powerful tool. So please tell your friends, this is a very important thing to keep up with. This is just a welcome message, for example. Have a read. We talk about a few things. Every week I'm going to have an announcement like this. I'm going to talk about how the course is going, what's happening at the macro level for the course. I'm going to talk about what your colleagues are doing. And please just subscribe to this. You should receive it automatically as an email as well. That's important too, so you don't have to check Moodle all the time. If you don't receive it as an email, maybe check with IT to sort it out, because that's the best way, right? You just check your emails from time to time, you see my course announcements, and you're like, oh, actually the deadlines are coming, I need to do something about it. Then we have, actually, I should move, this is my secret view. I'm going to switch to student role. Oh yeah, I don't want to show you all the secret folders, but here we are. This is what you're going to see. The first is just a run through on how to sign up and sign in onto the Playconomics platform. We use this approach, I'm going to explain in a second why, and just follow very carefully this instruction, the way you put in your email and all of that. And also know that there are two ways to access it for for free. If you pay, if you buy a license, essentially, we keep the price as small as possible, and that money just go on to support, respond to emails, make sure the servers are up and running. So we just cover the cost. Nobody's making money here. But we have also free options. We have computer labs where you can access the game absolutely for free. Just send us an email. I'm going to tell you the email right now. Send us an email to support@lionsartstudios.com if you want to access the game for free from the computer labs. The way we structured it is that you don't need to go to the computer labs all the time. Maybe you go 3-4 times in a term, okay? You just schedule it. You come to campus for some reason. We hope that you come at least 3-4 times to campus. This is still like a campus experience, I think, for UNSW. So come 3-4 times. You can organize your work so that you do all the assessments during those times. You can prepare, for example, your short answer questions from home, come in the lab, paste them in, and you're done. So that's entirely possible. So contact us at support@lionsartstudios.com if you want to access this for free. If you want to support the project and just essentially pay for our cost, please use the, purchase the license. We kept it at the price which is less than a third-hand textbook. So it's as cheap as we can make it. And the Playconomics website, we're going to see in a second, includes everything: your ebook, your PDF of the textbook, all the questions, the videos, the multiple choice questions. It's all in there, so you don't need anything else from this course. Then we have General Hub with a bunch of information. You can find the course outline here and some policies that are kind of important to at least know. One of these includes some mentioning of feedback at the end of the course. You're going to be asked how this went for you. We take your feedback very, very, very seriously, and we do a lot of changes based on this. So we look forward to hearing about you at the end. Then we have the assessment hub, where we show all the deadlines, and unsurprisingly, for multiple choice SAQs, they are all at the very end of the term, November 18. It's in a couple of months. That's when our deadlines are, and we explain a little bit more about this here. Then we have academic integrity. I want to spend 1 second on this topic. As soon as there is a report or we found that there is cheating, and cheating can go from small things to big things like contract cheating, where you hire someone to do your homework. Well, if that happens, unfortunately, it's completely out of our hands. It instantly goes to central, and we cannot show leniency. We cannot do anything at that point. It's not our decision to make. And the university is very, very tough, and it has its own reason for being tough on cheating. So the result is that you can have permanent effect on your academic career just by making one big mistake. Now, please don't cheat. There is a lot of information here about, the student code of conduct. Just have a quick read so you know what constitutes cheating, and just avoid it. The cost, if you get caught, is really high, and it has long-run impact on your life. We don't want that. I don't want that. And as I said, it's not even something I can slow down. Let me go with the big camera. It's not something I can rein in. When the genie is out of the bottle, when there is a report of cheating, there is a whole process. Please don't do it. I went in the big camera to say, please do not do it. This course is not going to put stress on you. There are lots of ways of making marks during the terms. If you fail something, you can try it again. Don't cheat. It's not going to be worth it, and it's dangerous. After this warning, let me move on to your team. Well, it's me, Alberto. Then there is Esther, who is gonna teach some of the classes, and we have Will De Gottardi, who is our lead demonstrator. Will, together with Alex King, is actually manning the Econ 1101 email. So if you have any issue about this course, email this address here. I'll also be reading all your emails. They're gonna copy me in all your emails so I know exactly what's going on all the time. But send your message to this email and the team will get back to you within 24 hours, even faster most of the time. They're really, really good and I'm very proud of them. They are amazing at catching up, as I said, because they care. That's part of the magic. Then we have the lecture recap questions, which is a very interesting section. Give it a look. Just to aid you in your learning, we have the recordings, right? And you know, you probably get it at this point. We are doing everything through this YouTube channel. So if you are here, you already know. All the lectures are there. I can go see if I can go real quick. Yeah, oh, this is us live with this class. And then of course you can see the scheduled class for the rest of the term down here. So pretty cool. Simplest way, I think, to deliver classes and the recording as well of the classes when everything is done. So this was our recordings. I just don't like to do what most people does, which is record on campus live class and post it for the online stream. I don't like it. It's not interactive. You cannot ask questions. Also, the quality is all over the place. At least I can control the quality of my YouTube stream so I know what's going on. Then we have workshop live stream. And this is where we really go to town with flexibility. So suppose you cannot go to workshops, but you would love to see the recording of a workshop, or you would love to do it online. Well, we have online workshops as well. Find all the information here. So literally, you should be able to find a way to follow through with this course if you want. There are so many options. The office hours are right after my live in-person classes, the first one on Monday, and right after this online class on Tuesday on this link here, online office hours, that one there. Open it now, open it in a new window, that's fine. Here we are, you can see the online office hours scheduled easy. So if you want to talk with me online, we can do this on Tuesdays as following this schedule here. Amazing. We're almost done with Moodle, so if you're getting a little bit bored, we are almost there. This is the schedule of classes. You can see that Stream A is in person, Stream B is online. That's, you know, we are Tuesday, 11 a.m. That's us. Remember, you can go to any lecture stream you want, and these are the workshop. But remember, you can go to any workshop you want, even multiple of them if you want, so complete freedom. Who to contact? Well, you can get a lot of information out of the course outline. If you need support with the Playconomics page, this is the support email. But if you need any information about the course, then this is your email, econ1101@unsw.edu.au. This is the place. This is the place to go. I'm keeping an eye on the chat. I think everything is going really well. So that's fantastic. Now let's move on to Playconomics.com. I'm gonna wrap up the admin part really soon, and then we are gonna be able to talk a little bit more about the content finally and talk a little bit economics. I'm gonna start this stream maybe a few minutes after the hour so people have time to move from their classes to the online one. And also I'm gonna try to finish this stream maybe 10 minutes before the hour, before the end time. So again, you have time to move on to your next commitments and we don't cram things too much. Very well. Now, how does the Playconomics website work? So here is the Playconomics website. You can have a look at the philosophy behind what we do here. We also have a really cool program, Step Up, that offers the games to high school to get people on a path to university, especially high school students that maybe come from less privileged backgrounds and have less opportunity to interact with universities on a regular basis. That's a path for them as well. So we're very proud of this. We're doing a lot of work on that too. Let me just say that, just wondering if any one of you is actually coming from one of the high schools that used Playconomics before coming to this course. That would be really exciting. If you are one of those people, please send me a message in the chat room. I'm really curious to hear. We offer the course to thousands of high school students, so you might be in the bunch. But if you're wondering why we're thinking about gamification and experiential learning, let me just tell you this. We are, me and Isabella Dobrescu, head of School of Economics, in the same school I'm from, also a professor of economics. We are really passionate about improving education. We believe that social mobility, opportunity, and equality in society is going to make our democracy more robust, our institutions stronger. So social mobility is really important. So we care a lot about making education available at scale. And let me tell you this, research is showing that one-on-one tutoring, for example, so like people exposed to intense one-on-one tutoring for a few months of their lives, can actually improve their educational outcome by what economists call 2 standard deviations, which, it's more or less maybe 15% improve in their educational outcome. I'm just very much like throwing a number out there, but think about that. So that's what one-on-one tutoring can give you, a 2 standard deviation increase in educational outcomes. But the interesting part is that for every standard deviations of improvement, you get on your lifelong earnings. So think about all the money that you're gonna make over your life. For 1 standard deviation increase in your educational outcome, scholars in economics have found that you get 10% increase in your lifelong earnings. So 2 standard deviations, the result of intense one-on-one tutoring, we are talking about a 20% increase in your lifelong earning in your whole life. Of course, economists like to put dollars amount everywhere, but when you're thinking about a 20% increase in your income during the course of your life, that's huge. And that really is just not money, it's satisfaction, how engaged you are with your job, a lot of other things that we think are proxied by this increase in income. So education is really, really crucial. It turns out that in other experiments that have been done after the initial one-on-one tutoring was maybe giving maybe 0.5 standard deviations effect on people educational outcomes. So maybe the 2 standard deviation was a little bit on the high side, but still 0.4 standard deviations increase in output in terms of education still has a substantial impact on life learning. And what we discovered is that gamification, so like making people play games and have experiential learning, has a similar power as one-on-one tutoring in terms of increasing your educational outcomes, and hence, if you believe that empirical analysis, the trajectory of your life earnings in the future. So gamification, making things playable, is actually just as powerful as one-on-one tutoring. That's what we found in our experiments. We publish papers and we do research as part of our job, of course. And this is important. The way it works is that gamification fun tends to affect everybody in the same way. Usually when you have a teaching innovation, the ones at the very top of the distribution, the top students tend to adopt that, but not everybody else, not as much at least. But with games, fun, it actually is applied across the board. So this is really lifting the whole cohort, not just a small portion. So that's why we are so passionate about keep studying this and finding out what are the best way to improve learning. And Playconomics is coming out of this idea of improving education for all, improving social mobility. That's why we reach out to high school. But enough about why we are gamifying. Let's take a look at how you log in. Well, follow the instructions in Moodle. So now I'm gonna log in with my fake student account. That's it. You're gonna pop in here. Let me go up with the screen. You are going to see only one course, this Econ 101 T3. This step-up course is the one for high school students, so you're not gonna see that one. So you are only gonna have like a button here, view details, that you're gonna be interested in for this course. You, at this point, either have to pay your subscription, or you can go to the computer labs and access it for free. And then from here, one thing that you can do, you can get the PDF of the textbook. That's it. It's all here. The textbook is here. The only difference between the textbook and the ebook that I'll show you in a second is that in the textbook we have these graphs, whereas in the ebook we transform these graphs into videos, because it's so important to know and learn how to derivate, to draw a graph. In economics, we make all these graphs, we turn them into videos in your ebook. But otherwise, you can download this PDF, take it with you. You can ask your friends to share it with you if they already have it. And it's like going to the library and have a free textbook. It's there for you. Then you can also launch your online course. There we are. Here we are. So I'm gonna again sign in, not as this guy, I'm gonna sign in as that guy, so we can actually see the student view right there. And we are now inside what we call academia, which is where all the action comes from. This is where all your assessments are, and all the activities, the textbook, everything is, it's here in academia. So there are two ways to navigate. We're still, working out which one is best for students. If you have a preference, let me know. You can dispense entirely with a navigation bar, and you can just take a look at all the chapters. You also can see here information about the deadlines for every chapter. But as you can see, all the deadlines are effectively in 2 months for multiple choice question and short answer questions. So you don't have to worry about this, but we keep a clock and we give you the opportunity to check them, just to be sure that you know what's going on at all times. So this is one way to navigate. The other way is to just open the navigation bar and just follow the structure of the course. So first, let's start with course details. We have Welcome to Econ 101, where we can see students already posting pictures and introducing themselves. Building community is incredibly important to us. It is really the foundation of an amazing course. You are the amazing part of the course. So hearing from you, it's so important. Just post, say hi if you want. Then here there are instructions on how to navigate using the nav bar that I'm going to show you in a second. Then a few things that you can do here, like for example, accessing a very shorter version of the course outline, our weekly checklist, the assessment, the textbook PDF, and other sections. These sections are just here. You have a course outline, which is so slimmed down to be something that you can read easily without getting too bored with the main things that you need to know. If you want to double check things, have a look at the course outline. Then we have the weekly checklist, really cool. Every week you know what you need to do. The key concepts, what to do, what chapters to read, what questions to do, and you've got your slides here. They're both here and in Moodle, of course, that we are gonna cover during our classes. Awesome. Then you have your assessment structure with the deadlines that I just described right there. And finally, we have share anything if you want to share thoughts. This is the section to do that. And you're going to see that in almost all sections, we have a comment section at the bottom. So you can actually send a message in any one of these pages. If you have a question, we're going to get back to you Our demonstrators are incredible. They man and this website all the time. So you can ask a question there and people will get back to you. Amazing. Then about this project, we talk a little bit about why we're doing what we're doing. So if you want to watch this video, it's entirely up to you. And about the authors. And then we get into the main part of the course. So we have at the beginning, level 1. This is, so as you can see from your progress page, let me switch to this view. We break up the course into game levels, and we are going to release more game levels as we progress in the course. And then we have chapters. And some of them are still locked, like this chapter is locked, and it's gonna open up in sync with our lectures, okay? So we are basically open these chapters. You can see the lock on chapters that are currently locked, and they will be open later on. But for now, you have level 1. This is optional. As I said, you can play the game, or you can focus on other assessments if you want, so don't feel like you have to. But the game does something that no other piece of content can do because it gives you experiential learning. So we feel it's important to give an option to everybody. So you can make points by playing these levels, but you can also, they are optional. You can go on into the main chapter, do maybe more short answer questions, as I was saying at the beginning, and you can skip them. So don't feel like you have to play the games if you don't feel that's the best way for you to learn. It's not compulsory. So here we introduce Playconomics, and the game is actually built into your website. We are super proud of this because we think it really enhances accessibility of the game. So you can access it directly within the ebook, just press in there, then there you are. You are in the game, and super cool. You might notice that now that I've got this joystick. Well, this is because I'm using my iPad. This is accessible from tablets, mobile phones, any place. And we're gonna start really slow here, building the economic model. And what better way there is to build an economic model than showing you what the model looks like and make you interact with it. It's cool. So here I can pick up bananas, for example. I can eat them and get happiness out of it. And in this chapter, we are beginning to talk about things like happiness, how economists think about happiness. Is happiness constant, or does it decrease with the activities that you do? All these are important things that we start to flesh out very gently in this level. Then of course you can go to bed and start again if you want. Your points are going to be immediately captured in here. And for example, here you can see that it also tells me how many course marks I can get. And as soon as I am done with the level, I achieve the objective of the level, they're gonna assign these course marks to me, they're gonna tell me, and it's gonna show up in your progress here in the course marks, okay? So this is the game levels. Give it a go if you want, more coming soon. And then we have the chapter. The only chapter that is currently open is chapter 1. So if I press on chapter 1, I can go to the first section, which is your video lecture. This one is sending me to YouTube. Just in case you missed it, that's where a YouTube page also is, for you to access the lecture related to this week and this chapter, if you prefer to have that kind of experience. And then we have your first model, which is also the first section of the ebook proper. And what I'm doing, you're going to see every section is going to have a little announcement from me when I open them, telling you how the course is going again, connecting you with the rest of the students, pointing out if there is any deadline or things that you need to keep an eye on to keep you up to speed with everything. And then this is where I go out of my way to explain to you how the course works. I am telling you exactly how many course marks you've made so far, how many course marks you can get during the term, how many course marks you're gonna get from the final exam, and then I'm gonna break it down super carefully explain word by word how you got those marks. For example, maybe you got some of those marks by answering multiple choice questions. Maybe you get some of those marks by answering short answer question. I'm going to try to be as clear as possible, to the point of probably pestering you with all this information that I am going to put at the beginning of every section of the ebook. So it's very repetitive, but I want to make sure that everybody knows at all times how many course marks they made and why. Where are these course marks coming from? So please excuse me if you're gonna keep seeing this blue box at the beginning of each section of the ebook. They are there just to make sure everybody is on the same page. And in this first section, we give an example of a multiple choice question. And as soon as you answer this multiple choice question, actually I could do it for you live, let's see. So according to the section, what is the main benefit of using a model? It clearly presents both assumption and conclusion, so this is the right answer. By the way, we get you a lot of feedback when the answer is right or when the answer is wrong, and this is just formative multiple choice questions. It's okay for you to fail them. You can try them again at no cost. The idea for all these assessments in the ebook is that they are formative. We want you to engage with them. If you fail, then we give you another option. For the short answer question, if you do it, it's not quite as good, we give you an option to do another short answer question to make up for that. So there are plenty of opportunity to catch up, even if you start on the wrong foot with some of these assessments. The idea is not for this to be summative. That's for the final exam. In the final exam, 55 marks in the exam period at the end of this course, then it's going to be summative. We're going to give you 2 hours. We want to know how much you learned. But during the term, everything we do is formative, which means we just want you to engage with the material. We don't want to penalize you if you are missing a step. So now I can close this. And I should see here in my multiple choice question that I have gotten some points from the multiple choice question. Maybe I actually didn't do it, completed, okay. So it will pop up here really quickly in the My Progress, and it will also be highlighted in this section here as soon as I am answering them. So actually I might need to check this 1 second, because it says that I've answered the multiple choice question, but it didn't give me multiple choice question points. So I'm gonna check this right after class. But you can see it has updated here with 1 multiple choice question in, so all good. It has picked up that I've done this assessment and updated everything. Perfect. And then of course more sections coming soon as we cover those in the lectures. So stay tuned for us opening more and more of these chapters. You can always check how many questions you have done and not done within a chapter. So this one will have a total of 12 in the end. You can check when this is due as well. So all this information is just readily available to you right there. Amazing. So going back to the navigation bar, let me show you a bit of additional information. As I said, this is the Econ 101 team. This is the course schedule. This is interesting. It tells you what type of chapters I'm going to cover in the book at different points in time. So you have a very clear picture of everything that's going on. And then we have, again, the class schedule. And if you need help, we have all the emails that you need to know about in this section here. So this was a quick look at your ebook, and if everything goes well, you should be able to essentially go section by section. All the explanations are there. You should be able to immediately get what you need to do, get all the feedback on your course marks, and always know what's going on. So I'm going to reach you through the announcements in the ebook. I'm going to do the same announcements on Moodle as well. So I'm going to try to find multiple ways to catch your attention and get you to focus on the course content. Whenever there is a reason for me to do that, and whenever there is something happening, you're going to be the first to know. Very well. It seems like the questions are going well. People are asking questions in the chat. Someone is asking if the exam is going to be pen and paper. We are still working out the details of that, so I cannot quite answer you right now, but we are definitely working on that, and we'll give you more information about the final exam as soon as we can. So thank you for asking that question. As soon as we know, because things have been changing quite a bit at the university level in terms of assessment, especially for first year courses. As soon as we know, we are going to let you know. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this. That was really important. Look what we have here in the very last part of the course. We have exam practice question. Look at that number, 365, but we are even going to release more of them. So in this chapter here, you essentially can have a true exam-like experience preparing for that final exam. We put it at the end because for now we want you to focus on the assessments for the term, but at the very end, that's going to be your way to go to test your skills and know exactly how well will you do in the final exam. And we are going to add another section to this again with even more challenging questions probably soon, so stay tuned for more of that as well. So thanks so much for the questions. I wish I could follow that more closely, but Trent is doing an amazing work. So all good. Remember to tag me if you want me to jump in. Can I just ask you if so far my speed has been good? So just reaching out, this is something I like doing all the time, reaching out to you live so that you can sway me into changing the speed, the delivery, into something that works for you. So can you tell me if so far the speed was good, or if I was too fast or too slow? If you can just type it in the chat room, I am gonna just absorb that, and on the fly, I'm gonna change my speed. Very easy for me to go faster or slower, and I personally don't mind, so it's entirely up to you. I always tell students that when you look at my recordings, maybe I will go double speed all the time. Still, I don't know that I can get that kind of speed on a live format like that, but if you watch the recording, you can. Pace has been great. I love the teaching. Oh, thank you so much. Best experience. That's been great. You are the best. Keep that in mind. Thank you so much for the positive comment. Good, good. So it seems like the speed has been right. I'm really glad that you are liking it. And especially thank you for taking the time to answer in the chat. I know that it's effort. To do everything is effort. Maybe you're on the go with your phone, or you don't want to type something. So it's really appreciated. Pace is good, pace is good. So far, the feedback has been really good. So I'm going to try to keep the speed as I move on. Now, what I'm going to talk about in a second, it's a bit of an introduction to economics. I'm going to spend maybe 10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes, and then I'm going to call it so that you can go to your next engagement today. The big question that I want to ask is, and try to answer it together, what is economics? Okay, many would be tempted to answer something along the lines of, well, it's the choice we make under scarcity, and that is not wrong. But it creates this idea that economics is about scarce resources, scarce materials, supply chains. Maybe gives the impression that economics is about choices in markets, what to buy, what to sell. But actually, economics, it's much wider than that. And in fact, what I'm going to try to persuade you of in this first class is that economics is literally about every single decision you make every single day. There is no decision that we make that is not an economic decision. Let me make the case for this so we get the right starting point conceptually for this class. Let me start with a provoking, if you want, a provoking question, which is, could economics be about pure love? Not the love that you buy and sell, but actually pure soulmate type of love. okay? The purest form of love that we can imagine as humans on this planet. There may be a reaction here that, well, no, economics is not about that kind of high concept, love level type of thing. Just, I don't see how economics could speak to that. Let me show you an example that might change your mind. Suppose something really terrible. So this is the planet. This is planet Earth, beautiful planet Earth. We all love and we should do definitely more to protect planet Earth. And suppose there is something happen. Let me go back to that page. Not that page, this page. Something happens and all of a sudden you find yourself being the last person. Look at you. No, the last person alive on the planet. Everybody else, unfortunately, passed. They died. There was some, I mean, whatever you can imagine, alien invasion. You are the only one left. But then you notice that in Europe, there is someone else there that is alive. And you are so lucky that that person there turns out to be your soulmate. Talking about pure love, and this is love and be loved. You are also their soulmate, right? So this is amazing. However, remember, there is no flying, there are no trains, no cars. You are in Sydney, they are in, say, Berlin, in Europe. You're gonna have to walk there if you wanna be with that person. The question for you, and sorry to bother you with this, that could seem like a silly question, but I would like to ask you on the chat, and just a yes or no would suffice, if you would be willing to actually walk from Australia and probably swim as well to reach your soulmate in Europe. Would you take that harrowing journey to get to your soulmate? Please let me know in the chat, what are you gonna do? This is, after all, a decision that has nothing to do with buying or selling, nothing to do about supply chains or, you know, how many iron we have on the ground or coal that we use for production. This is not that. This is entirely about a decision that pertains to love. So a lot of people are saying yes, boat. Someone is saying boat. I'm gonna make a boat. Okay, so but lots of positive decision making here in terms. Oh, someone is saying no. Someone is saying no. Lots of yeses. Let me just rephrase this for those who said yes. And I can make you this guarantee. If you decide, in fact, to go, you're going to travel there, and it's going to take you 80 years to get to that place. 80 years. I guarantee you that you're going to make it. You're going to find the love of your life in 80 years. So that will be like 98 or something like that. You would be 99. It's a beautiful age to meet the person you love. Isn't that the best age to meet them? So now, please let me know if your decision has changed now that I have specified for you what is likely going to happen. You're going to meet the love of your life in the beautiful age period of 98 to 99 years old. Are you still going to travel the world knowing this? Well, you can probably see where I'm going with this. Although this is a decision about love, you're probably spending some time thinking about it, and that thinking that so some people are saying journey of a lifetime right there. Yes, Shark would not let you. I would still go. How about meeting halfway? I see that we are workshopping now. Like, how about we meet halfway, so we meet when we are 50 or something? So I love what's going on there. Got nothing better to do. Colin, that's a fair point. So, but see, you are thinking about it. So this is what we call an economic choice. You have to think about it. You are considering things, even if it's just about love, right? just about love decision, and probably not. Someone is saying someone changed their mind. So see the cost-benefit analysis happening here in real life in front of us in the chat room. Thank you so much for participating in this silly experiment. By the way, it's silly, but it really emphasized the idea that actually, scratch that, every decision we make is an economic decision. And the reason for that is that there is always something that's binding, that's scarce. Time, for example. Time is scarce. If you are here spending time with me, maybe per se, at this very moment, it might be free for you to pick up your phone. I mean, the cost of the battery, a bit of electricity, trivial cost for you to listen to me. But actually, that's not the right way to think about the cost, because the real cost is that you're giving away your time to me. You're giving me time. And with that time, you could have watched a movie, met the love of your life, slept, doing other things. Time is limited. I wish I could give you your time back right now. I can't. I'm sorry. You spent your time, you're done. So that is something that's scarce. No matter what, you're going to have that cost. You have to think about what is the best use of your time. Is this what I'm doing now, or should I switch to something else? So whatever happens, time is going to be scarce. But there is something even more profound. Imagine we are in an imaginary heaven where, in fact, there is infinite time. It's like being a vampire. You've got eternity, right, to play with, infinite time. And in fact, infinite resources. Nothing is scarce. Nothing. We have infinite ice cream, infinite love. Everything is infinite. Beautiful place. Are you still going to make economic decision in that place? Maybe would still carry that. Do you still need this subject to think about economic decision in that case? Answer is unfortunately yes. If you bring yourself to heaven and in this paradise where there is infinite everything, but you bring your own current preference structure, you still gonna have to make economic decision. Like this is, I'm not gonna bother you to get me more chat engagement, even though I love that. But it's pretty obvious to see that if in this infinite place we have infinite ice cream, I give the first ice cream, you're probably gonna be like, oh, out of 10, this is giving me 90% happiness, this ice cream, right? So it's a 9 out of 10. But then I give you another ice cream, and if you have the same preference structure that you have here in this world, then maybe you would be like, oh, the second ice cream actually was only an 8 out of 10. And if I keep giving you ice cream, you might be like, oh, this was only a 7 out of 10. And in fact, if I keep giving you, you might even tell me, well, this is giving me negative happiness. Negative happiness. So at that point, oh, sorry, I didn't share my screen. I was doing a lot of ice cream things. So I was saying, first ice cream, 9 out of 10 happiness. Second ice cream, 8 out of 10. It gets a little bit less interesting. And then third ice cream, 7 out of 10. But maybe if I keep going, you might even get negative happiness. Literally, I can use ice cream as a way of torturing you if I keep giving to you. Even if you have infinite time, you have infinite resources, still you're gonna want to make a decision when to stop, right? How many ice cream is enough ice cream? In that place, you would still have to make an economic decision because our own preferences, the structure of our own preferences, like it or not, is scarce. We enjoy things, but the more we do that thing, the less we enjoy it. So at a certain point, it's better if we stop. If we continue, it will be bad for us. So usually we stop. And if you think about it, that's good for the world. Otherwise, we would consume an infinite amount and we would be dying, right? And consume all the resources in one day. Thanks God, we have these limited preferences that keep us at bay. But that also means we need to make constant economic decisions left and right because of it, because of this inherent scarcity of our ability to appreciate things. Going back to love, even if you are in this place with infinite soulmates, you don't have to travel to Europe. You don't have to do anything crazy like that. You have all the soulmates around you. You would still have to make an economic decision. Here it's why. And I might ask this question on the chat, and very quickly doing that, because again, I don't want this to become a gimmick, but if I give you one soulmate, can you write down for me what is gonna be your happiness level out of that first soulmate that I gave you in this infinite place? You got infinite time. But because you have infinite time, let me ask you also, what would be your happiness when I give you two soulmates? How about having two of them? How happy would that make you? Two at the same time, two soulmates. How about three, and how about four? If you can tell me your happiness when you have one soulmate, two soulmates, three soulmates, four soulmates, all at the same time with you in this infinite place. Even that might, for some, become an economic decision. There may be an optimal amount of soulmates that you want. Because let's face it, too many soulmates, you need to remember so many birthdays, you know, it gets complicated. If you have trouble dividing your attention, that's also gonna be a problem. So one soulmate, 7 out of 10, we're getting all the answers in. I think you are getting where I'm trying to go with this. Every decision we make is an economic decision, because every decision is either costing our time and or costing our preferences, and both of these things are scarce. So here we are. This subject is really important. And of course, in this subject, we're going to talk about individuals, how they make decisions, but also how to fix the big issues, inequality, climate change, all these things. I argue they need to be solved through economics means. That's the right place to do it. We're going to discuss how we can achieve these goals and what tools we need, what type of systems we need to achieve them. I'm getting... People are beginning to answer my question, but I have maybe overstayed my welcome in terms of asking you to participate. I understand that many of you are on the go. Thank you so much for coming to this live class. On Thursday, we are going to move on to the first chapter. So what I'll do is just pick up the slides that you have on the Playconomics.com website or your Moodle website, get the slides. I'm gonna cover those. Workshops are not on this week, no workshops this week. So they're gonna start next week, and they're gonna cover some of the content we are going to do on Thursday, next Thursday, so this coming Thursday, I mean. We are going to try to engage you as much as possible during this live synchronous online classes, but remember, you can also watch the recordings if that is the best way for you to learn. I'm super excited about T3. It's always great for me to get to know you virtually or in person. Remember, you can choose to come to campus and say hi in person. For now, I'm just gonna say bye-bye to everyone, giving you enough time to get to your next thing. Thank you so much for coming up. A big thank you for Trent, our moderator. If you have any further questions, I'm gonna leave the chat open for a little bit longer, so you can ask any further question if you want, even if I stop the stream and I conclude this class. Yes, absolutely, the slides are available. Just catching a question as they're coming in. Oh, and by the way, I'm receiving some thank you messages. Thank you so much. What you see is a bit of a delayed version of me. So because the live stream is not 100% low latency, That's why sometimes I read your comments with a bit of a delay, and thank you so much for your kind words as you are saying bye-bye. Yes, the slides are available, as someone asked, so you can review on the slides. I'm also going to post the slides with all my annotation after the class. In the meantime, thank you so much, everybody. I'll see you really, really soon. Stay tuned, and I hope you have a great week. Try to have fun. University is also